Welcome everyone to Legend of Zelda Oath to Memories, a Majora's Mask sim here in Second Life. It is a roleplay sim, so if you want to roleplay some Zelda stuff, then obviously this is the place to do it. I've occasionally seen some Zelda sims pop up. I believe I've covered one before. It wasn't particularly Majora's Mask related though. I think they were doing their own alternative universe thing. In any case, we have quite a number of places to choose from, so let's go ahead and go to Romani Ranch first. It is currently night. Usually I don't do them at night, but I think this kind of makes it look a little bit better, and it should be turning day soon anyway, so... one of the first things I noticed is that the entrances are covered in these blocky, shadowy spots. And for the most part, it seems that you get to places by teleporting around. And so already you could probably see the look of Romani Ranch coming in. From what I could tell, usually only some of the buildings are enterable. Many of them have these black prims in front of them, which is a bit unfortunate, I guess, but obviously there's the issue of room. I do kind of think, though, that I think, in my opinion, I think the experience thing would work out pretty well here, because for a lot of the spots, like in Clocktown, for instance, you could probably just use the gates there and use the experience on them and have them teleport straight to the areas that they're supposed to be. The only one that wouldn't really fit would be this one here, Romani Ranch, but the other ones actually would probably work out pretty well that way. See the drawings on the side of the door there? Or wall, I should say. I have to say that I didn't particularly like this area in the game, and I think probably everybody knows why. Like that whole weird alien subquest that goes on here. Little sheep. Or I don't even think those are maybe sheep, they're like... I'm not sure what they are. Lambs, maybe? Here we have the barn and the house itself, which we can go ahead and see if that'll be enterable. Let's go ahead and peek around here and take a look at this cart. Very nice. Okay, yeah, so some of the places are openable. Some of the main places, basically, you'd go in the game. Quite a collection of different animals in here. We got horses, like some sort of goat. I believe there's cows too, because I hear them. Yep. Obviously got to get the milk for the milk bar in town. Got a horse here. It kind of looks like it may be... it looks like it maybe is standing for Emponia, but I'm not quite sure. Because that's where you would find her in the game. Nice stew on the stove there. At least I assume it's stew. Go ahead and check up here. Nothing up here, actually. Okay. We'll move on then. So I think I'll be going through the areas outside of Clocktown and then go to Clocktown last, because I think Clocktown is probably the biggest area out of the lot. I do like the little detail of having the mountains and whatnot off in the distance. I think that's really neat, especially I'm pretty sure to my left is the Akana Valley area. There's a lot of attention to detail that I like here. Okay, probably Great Bay I think we'll go to next. I think my Either Great Bay or the swamp were my favorite areas out of the game, to be honest. Though a lot of people don't like Great Bay because people consider the dungeon here to be probably the most difficult of the game. But I didn't particularly find it too difficult. It's basically a dungeon centered around pipes and having to set them the right way and whatnot. And if you wanted to, you could actually live on the side of the Great Bay, which is actually a pretty neat little thing. So there are player-owned houses here, basically. And then there's a second house right over here. I can't remember which one was the one that had like the fisherman and the seahorse in it. I'm pretty sure it'd probably be this one. Yeah, it's kind of a neat idea to be able to live in a Zelda area like this. I have no idea what the prims would be like though. And we got a nice little garden here as well. Plenty of stuff here. It looks like potatoes, cabbages, pumpkin, it looks like. Got some mushrooms over there as well. Some peppers. Quite a variety. There are a few changes to how the areas look, obviously, but this is probably one of the more nice-looking areas that I've seen from the Zelda areas. I've seen regions that have tried to do Hyrule for Ocarina of Time before, but this is the first one I've seen of a Majora's Mask one, which makes it a really nice experience. I probably should have done my Dooku Link avatar for this, but that one's so small that when I mouse look at it, I'd be probably like 3 feet shorter, camera-wise. And I guess this is a player house over here. Somebody probably owns that, so I'm not going to go inside of there. There seems to be a shrine right here, though. Or at least a tea house. Yeah, I guess that's the tea house. This is a really nice little setup here, because with how it's night at the moment, though, it is starting to turn day, I think. There's a lot of lighting around, which is nice to look at. And off here we can see, I think that's like the observatory, if I remember correctly, and then there's a thing way out there, which I think may be the dungeon, but I can't quite remember. And there's the 2 spires over there. Let's see if there's anything underwater. Nope, doesn't look like it. Though if I remember correctly, there would just be like boulders and stuff down here. I want to say that's the dungeon, because it was like far off. In the game, it was like far off into the Great Bay, and I think covered in fog, or something along those lines. I think this would be where you would meet the seahorse, if I remember correctly. At the 2 spires. I guess I have to fly up here, actually. I'm so used to having ladders that have a teleport thing on them. But yeah, it's a really nice place. See a close-up of this thing. It's off region, so I can't reach it anyways. Pretty nice. There's a couple of umbrellas and towels out if you wanted to rest out here. This big black spot over here is actually where you'd reach it from Termina Field. As per the other areas, besides the swamp, you would have to do something to get into this area in the first place. For the Great Bay, you'd have to have Epona to be able to jump over one of these walls that would be right outside this area. I think for the mountains, I think you had to have bow and arrow. And I think the Akana Valley needed the hook shot. Let's see, Akana Valley, or Akana Canyon, I guess it would be. Strange, I remember calling it, I thought it was Akana Valley, but I guess Akana Canyon's also correct. But yeah, this would be the last area of the game you go to before going back to Clocktown, and the Akana dungeon is pretty difficult as well. It has a interesting mechanic to it where you can flip the entire dungeon upside down. And this is a nice looking shrine right here. And I'm pretty sure this would be the area that you would go. Yeah, that's the entrance to Termina Field. It's I'm like really impressed with how they've managed to make this pretty much exactly how the game is. And to be able to get up to the cliffside there, you would have to hookshot up to a tree, if I remember correctly. I believe over on that little spot right there, that there would be a heart piece, I think, right there. And I think there would be an Octorok around here as well. And this would be the entrance to the thief's hideout that you would find around here. Oh, we got a gravestone here too, let's see. Yeah, it looks to be just a gravestone, I guess. Nicely lit up with the candles. Looks like we're heading into early morning here instead of night, so it's going to have a little bit of a different change in the lighting. Alright, let's take a look around. I can already see there's some player houses, I guess, here. And this is the castle that you would have to go into. I think it's one of the first things you have to do is go into this castle and go through it and beat the people in there for something. I think it's for the song that makes copies. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Because you can't get into the dungeon here without it. And back there, that black spot over there would be the cave. You would go in and I think you fight a ghost in there, and I don't remember what the reward is for it. It's been a while since I've played Majora's Mask, if you can't tell. And this, I believe, is the well, which I actually found to be one of the more annoying parts of the game. Basically, down there, you would have to talk to a bunch of mummies, essentially, and they all want something, like an item of sorts, usually something that's bottled. And, if you don't want to have to, like, waste a whole bunch of time, you would have to probably read a guide and have a straightforward path, but otherwise, if you fill out, like, everything in here. And this place looks like it's actually in use, so I'm going to leave it alone. That's a nice stairway, though, with all the moss and stuff growing on it. And this riverbed is all dried up. I believe it does eventually start doing water again. I think after you beat the ghost in this spot, maybe? Yeah, I think so, anyways. And here is, I believe, the entrance to the dungeon for the area. And you basically would have to hit like a bunch of switches to make platforms move up and down, but you'd have to use a song that makes copies of yourself. Yeah, it looks like you can have a house here in a kind of canyon as well, which is interesting to think of. These are more closed-off houses than the ones in Great Bay. And here is the house. This house would basically play music, which would make things calm down here in the area, if I remember correctly. Like the Re-Deads and all the other stuff. Once it started playing music, they'd disappear, I believe. And it would need the water that comes downstream for it to play music too, so... Oh, that's strange. I heard it close already once, but it opened up, I guess, again? I don't know. Let's check downstairs. I was expecting to see a closet down here, to be honest. There's a bunch of little rooms down this hallway, I guess. Here's a bed and some paper origamis, it looks like. Origami cranes. And we got a library here as well. Very nice looking. And it looks like this is just a laundry room, so guess we'll head on up. So yeah, so far these have been pretty faithful adaptations of the areas of the game, with obviously a few differences in between. But I am impressed with just how much work has been put into this to make this look so similar. And we're here at the swamp. And this looks to be the very entrance to it, to where you would have to get the boat ride to go through the poison swamp. I believe as far as The Sims goes, it is a prequel to Majora's Mask, where it's not, the moon isn't falling or anything like that. It's before all those events take place, so I assume everything is relatively calm in that respect. Can I now open this door? I don't see a rental thing. Is empty. No, it's not empty. Actually, it looks pretty nice inside. Though I don't see a rental thing, so I'm not sure if the door's just stuck or if this is somebody's house. But in any case, it looks really nicely done. Alright, let's go ahead and move on. And this would be the first dungeon area of the game, where you come and, well, you start the game out as a Dooku, but you would have to use it pretty much quite a bit in this area once you have it as a mask. I like the mountain up there, that looks really nice. For example, you would have to be a Dooku and, like, hop across these leaves, but I don't think I can make it all the way this way. Quite a jump. Let's go ahead and head on over to this gate area, it looks like. Looks like it leads to the potion area. And like in the game, there would be giant Octoroks in front of the ways in the water, so you couldn't just get through that way, but I think you'd probably end up dying before you got all the way through anyways, so... Oh yes, this looks very nice. If I remember correctly, one of the two witches that you would meet in this area work here as a potion maker, and I think you have to help her in the woods that are here before she'll show up in the building and be able to offer her services. Or maybe it's the one from the building that we were at before. I can't quite remember. I want to say it's here though. And it looks like there is a person living here, I assume. So we'll go ahead and leave this alone though. Just from looking at the door, it looks like there's nothing inside. Okay, so maybe that other spot was a rented place, I'm not quite sure. That'd be the first, this would be the first area that I see that actual, like, buildings from the game are rented places, though. And I hear some rain outside. I hope it doesn't pick up on the recording, but, hopefully it stops soon. I don't remember this area from the game, but, it does look nice. Or wait, I think there was... Okay, yeah, I think this actually was an area from the game. There's like a tree here, and there's some enemies about. Yeah, I think that's correct. There's like bats, I think, in the area is what the enemies are. Or Keesees, or whatever they're called in Zelda. We got a shooting gallery and a fishing spot here. Looks like the shooting gallery is closed up, but the fishing spot actually is open. Which I think is the first place, like, shop-wise we've seen that's open. Plenty of fish around. I guess this would be a hangout spot, it looks like, so there's no fishing rods available. Maybe you could do some 7 Seas here. It's a pretty nice looking area, though. Can I hop on this? No, it actually bumps me off. I don't see any fish in the water, though. I'm surprised there's not, actually. We'll just hop back up here. They've definitely done quite a bit of work on this place, and that's... I usually see that quite a bit with roleplay sims. They're usually really well done. I just don't get to cover them that often because I don't like to, like, come to places when they're busy and be that odd stranger that's not actually, like, doing anything. With, like, groups of people around that may be role-playing. I think there's people around, but, for the most part, I managed to catch it at a time when there's not a whole lot of people around. Get a nice view of the mountain here. Looks really nice. You can see some sunlight on the water itself here. Alright, well the only other things we have is a clock on the build platform. I'll show off the build platform real quick, but it's mostly just, I think, like, buildings and whatnot, and there's people up here from what I can see, so I'm gonna go ahead and just hop back on and we'll take a look at Clocktown. Alright, here we are in Clocktown, the main hub of Majora's Mask, and probably the main hub of this area too. And just from what I peeked into it, it looks like it has all the district areas, north, south, west, east, and we'll be able to take a look at them today. I believe this is the north area up here, so I guess we'll start with that and work our way around. And obviously the clock tower is right there in front of us. And here we see already the north gate, which would lead into... I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically the snow mountains. It would be the second area of the game you would head to, dungeon-wise. It's actually the only place now that I think of that doesn't have a spot here so far. I want to say it's Snowhead, but I can't quite remember if that's correct or not. We got a nice little tent here all lit up. Looks nice. And obviously right there would be the fairy fountain. And that would be the balloon that you'd constantly have to hit to get the kids' attention. They even have the little slide here that from the game. That's neat. And here we see some drawings. Something there doesn't fit like with the others. Alright, now I think we're heading into the east section, the east district, and this is the mayor's office, if I remember correctly. So let's go ahead and poke in here. Some nice pictures of Clocktown. Oh, there's a nice little mini-style thing here for it. That's actually really nice looking. Wow. Got some statue heads. I think those are probably like figures of the giants, perhaps. Though usually there's 4 of them. I guess this would be like the lounge or whatever. I think this was a house and a office or something along those lines. Looks nice. And we'll go ahead and peek through the other door here, which I think is also the office. Like, this is the... Yeah, this would be the mayor's office. In the game, when you come here, you'd see the mayor and, like, I think it's the townspeople and the soldiers that are bickering with each other about the moon potentially falling soon. And down this way would be actually one of the neater areas of the game. You'd have to go through like it's like a sewer area, and then you end up in the astronomy tower that's actually technically outside of Termina Field. Or inside Termina Field. And it's like a weird place compared to everywhere else. Indigo goes. Good things come to those who break clay pots. And there's like a picture of the swamp there up above it. Looks like it's drawn, perhaps. And I believe this gate is the Akana Ken one. In this district, it's basically a lot of, for the most part, it's like games and other things along those lines. There's also the inn and the bar here as well. Let's take a look if we can go inside of the milk bar. Well, the door's clickable, but I can't get it to open. And some of these signs are in like the Hyrule speak or whatever it is, a language that you can't really read, but it actually is a language that can be translated. And this looks like a pretty neat area. I think people particularly remember the milk bar because it's a rather neat-looking bar area that you have to actually do some work to get into in the game. You have to go through the whole quest line with the Romani Ranch to be able to get the mask that you need to be able to go inside. Looks like they've changed it up a bit here, but I actually like it quite a bit, especially the purple lighting. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the inn next. That way leads back to the clock tower, so we won't need to go that way. Can I click on it? Yep, there we go. We got a nice little fish tank here. Quite a few different fish here, including one of those looks like sucker fish that are on the side of the tank. Live at Great Bay Termina. I wonder if they're going to have the surprise in here. Got an empty room here. Let's see what's in here. Oh, yep. Hand sticking out of the toilet. Just as I remember it. This was like one of the oddest things to come into this inn and find. And I think you could only find it at night, too. Particularly in... I think it was maybe particularly a certain time, too. Here we have the kitchen. It has a little water source in here, too, which I always remember for some reason, because it was the only place in town that had it like that. Alright, let's go ahead and check upstairs. I'm wondering if some of these are like player homes in the inn, because that would make sense, but can I ring the bell? Nope, can't ring the bell. Can see a view of the district down this way. Just a couple more doors in here. Oh, there's actually a nice little room in here. Very nice. Can't remember if this is one of the rooms from the game, though. I kind of think it is. I think this might be... I think that may be the inn woman's room, but I can't quite remember. Oh, and I guess that's a rental room. There's a thing in there for it. And this room was like, yeah, there was a bunch of bunk beds, and there was the circus performers that would hang out in here. Bomb Chew. Clocktown Bank. The only bank that stands the test of time. Isn't that the truth? And I think that's it for the inn, so let's go ahead and head back out. Guess we can go out this way. As I said before, the rest of these are like game type things. Like there's a bomb chew game thing. There's a maze game thing here, which is the building right next to us actually. And I think a shooting gallery as well, but I can't quite remember. It actually is a game spot in here, though it's not the maze thing, but it's a tabletop spot. And it actually looks like a literal tabletop station over there. I think I saw that at Fantasy Fair, actually. So if it's a thing that you can actually buy and do tabletop on, that's actually really nice. And I think this is the... I want to say this is the... like the bomb game place, but I can't quite remember. And this is the shooting gallery. So yeah, that probably is the bomb place. Doesn't look like these places are openable, though. Oh well. And now we're heading into the South District, which is where the clock tower is. Looks like we have a bakery in here, which is a nice change of pace. Some nice looking pies here. Now I'm just getting hungry. Couple of photos here, it looks like. I'm guessing we'll probably be seeing a few more shops here. I think actually the next district has quite a few shops. Back here's the kitchen area. Plenty of pastry still on the fire, I see. Getting a little bit of freeze up, it looks like here. Okay. And here we have our more standard market areas where we have things like meat, fish. People stand here and sell stuff, no doubt. Cheese. And some more pastry goods. And this is the South Gate, which is the swamp area. We got a job board here. And we get a nice view of the clock tower. There's also a staff board here, it looks like. There was also one at the Moon Hub as well. A couple of people online. Let's check back here. This leads over to a very small alleyway, essentially. It looks like it's actually made back here. And people who have played the game know that there's a certain person here that you can meet who's wearing a mask that they're actually one of the very first people you see in the game, because they're off delivering a letter and then running back over here. I don't know what this is, but it looks pretty nice. Like a whole shelving of buildings. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at the center here in the clock tower itself. Well, it looks like there's a news board here, along with some posters again. It looks like they're having an annual summer festival. And apparently there's some things going on in Great Bay. Yeah, it looks like we have, like, I think this might be some gacha stuff here. It's the first literal shop that we've actually seen here, actually. Got some silk and like blankets and towels and whatnot being made, it looks like. And some vegetables at the stall. Looks nice. Let's take a peek in here. Ah, yes. Can't forget that, can we? And this is where you would have to be to get up to the top of the clock tower once it shifted over. Here's the clock itself, though it doesn't look like it's actually... And here we go. This is... what is this? I think the Western District, yeah. That was kind of weird with that door. And there's quite a few different shops over here as well. This kind of appears to be another inn, though. This wasn't in the game. And that's another rental room, it looks like there, but it's available. Tinkle doll. And we'll go ahead and just follow up the stairway. We got something here. It looks like some sort of shop. Getting a little bit of a frame rate hit here, but it looks like it's stabilizing. Oh, this actually looks like a pretty nice place here. The theme of black and gold. Looks like a potion shop. Well, that's a neat little thing up there. Quite a few knickknacks around as well here. Can I go back here? No, it doesn't look like it. Yeah, I guess you'd come here and get some potions made, it looks like. Nice moon forest picture over there. It's all really nice. Got a number of things right there as well. I can't quite read them. We'll go ahead and move on here. looks like another shop in here. This one I think may be the pawn shop equivalent. Huh. Got quite a few different knickknacks in here. That skull seems to like watching me in any case. This door's not resting up quite correctly. There it goes. Oh, that's a nice cake. It looks like somebody's not been changing their calendar recently. It's practically June. Oh, I was about to say, that's quite a drop that I didn't quite remember there. Just that the floor wasn't resting correctly at the moment. And this is the, I guess this is the equivalent of the bomb shop. I remember in the game you had to help somebody over in the north side of town at night and stop a thief, and then I think you could buy bombs here, or something along those lines. Clocktown had quite a number of weird little things going on throughout it. It's nice that the actual, item set is there, too. And here we have the Great Bay Gate. Last gate of Clocktown. This would obviously lead out to the Great Bay. And this is the Swordmaster's house, if I remember correctly, where you could train with your sword. I think he may teach you something. I can't remember. I think he gives you some kind of reward, but I can't quite remember what it is. A lot of different posters in here. Ah, got stuck in the door. And this is the mail office, and it looks like it is in fact a mail office. Quite a few mailboxes in here. I remember there being a particular mini game with the mailman where you had to stop on a specific second with the game he wants to play. And I think he gives you his hat if you do it. I can't remember. Or maybe it's like a heart piece. And this is in the game it would be the lotto, I think. But in here it looks like perhaps somebody lives here, I'm pretty sure. I assume. I'm not quite sure. But, looks like a nice place regardless. It looks like there's bedrooms in here. I don't know what that is. Oh, it's like a picnic setup, I guess. Or no, it looks like some sort of setup, though. Okay, we'll get out of here. Pretty sure this is somebody's house. But in any case, that actually, ooh, those are some pretty nice lights there. And we're back at the clock tower again. We did a full circle around. And, I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's a really nice sim. And it's nice to see a Majora's Mask sim instead of a Ocarina of Time sim that we've had quite a few of already. In any case, I will see you guys in the next video. And hopefully that will be real soon.